Introducing the great Michael Venom Page, everybody.
I gotta ask this. Did you beat Mike Perry in bare knuckle?
Hell yes.
You're so close.
That was a good fight.
There was just something about watching his style that I just said I can beat that. And even, I swear to you, I don't even feel like I was at my best on that day. And still, he didn't know what to do with me.
You just beat the boogeyman. I would venture to say you get probably pick of the litter. Who you calling out?
Usman's a good fight. Colby's a good fight. I want people to see me against wrestlers as well.
Have you been training at all with KSI for his upcoming fight?
He's in the gym all the time, and you only have to look at the style to know. You should know where he gets it. You know, he gets it from. Honestly speaking, I don't understand how he's even achieved what he's achieved this far.
Well, speaking of those gym rumors, there are some floating around about you beating up on Khamzat Chimaev. Boom! Welcome back to Overdogs Podcast. I'm your host. What now? It's Platinum Mike Perry with the boys Mac Malley and Ice Bags. We here again, and we got a banger for you tonight. You'll find out who our guest is shortly. There's lots to talk about in the meantime. Man, there was lots going on in combat sports. You know, last we saw the Sean Strickland versus DDP card in UFC. You know, there was some comments between his coach and, you know, I saw something about Sean saying he probably won't have Coach Eric in his next fight, corner him or whatever. My thoughts on that, I think that's a little bit rational thinking. He's been with his coach for a while. His coach wanted to see more out of him. It's tough between a fighter and a coach. When you're trying to speak your fighter's language, you know, you're trying to get to him, get to his mindset, where his head's at in the fight. You only got a minute or less. And, you know, emotions can get heated. So
it's a pretty sacred relationship, especially for as long as they've been together, right? And as high as they've climbed together. You know, they've won a title. The fact that he went on a podcast and like questioned his heart, essentially, you know, a day later, 2 days later, it was really, really fast. Do you not feel like that's a complete like lack of like respect and a break of trust? You're coming off a title, you know, loss, and then your guy goes and does that? Like, I'd be fuming.
Okay. I get that. And, you know, maybe Coach Eric wants the fumes. He wants Sean to light a new fire and, you know, take a deep dive and a deep look. Sometimes constructive criticism is really hard to hear. And, like, as a fighter who's dealt with some things like that, I feel like over time, eventually, I'm like, you know, I can't be mad at them for being right. The truth shall set you free. And
yeah, but at the same time, right? There's a time and a place for that.
And it's a hard game for the coaches as well, because considering social media says whatever the hell they want, but they don't have to deal with any consequences. And then, you know, you get used to saying things to go viral. You know, what are people going to talk about? Oh, the coach is, you know, I didn't really hear everything Eric said. I just know that he wasn't exactly happy with some of the things, and he thinks Sean could have done better in certain areas, and there was a miscommunication between them during the fight, and Eric was probably upset as to why. Now, I'm not saying I know Eric or Sean, but I know they've been training together a while.
Didn't Sean block you?
He may have, but you know,
he said he was going to over the transgender when he was like, Mike keeps tagging me and all this, and I'm done. And then you were like, no, dog, it's a joke, and he was like, I'm just playing.
Yeah, true, right. So, you know, but well, I hope those guys can figure it out, man. They've been a great team together. They got a lot going on over there in Las Vegas. Sean's tried to take a head to that team and really inspire guys there that train. So, you know, but the fight game moves fast and people come and go super quick. And, you know, Just like
I'm
Topic.
gonna be honest. I didn't even watch the fight. The card was so bad on paper. I was like, I'm not staying up to watch this one fight, and I'm glad I didn't because I heard it was like the worst fight on the card.
It wasn't very impressive, honestly. And I think, if you're a fighter, Sean's never been someone that just always is running in, crashing in, but he's known to go in and like put hands on somebody, and I guess that would be Nicksick, the problem. Like, dude, this is how we win fights. If you're not going to commit, like, look when he not,
I'm sorry, Mac, but it's me.
No, you're good.
I think there were things that were impressive. Sean had a high caliber jab. His strikes looked very fast, but DDP was he was an ogre in there.
He's so good, man.
He was so good. And that's where
he's so underrated for being a champion too.
You can't take it away from DDP. He was just dogging it. Like, he was loving every moment of that fight. So, speaking of another fight, Jared Cannonier beats Robocop in a banger. Yeah. He got knocked down twice in the first round. Then he comes out and, starts establishing his range and distance. He missed a lot of heavy hitters. He swung for the fences and missed a ton. I was watching and I was like, man, if he could just step in a little more and get that going. And he hit him a couple times, and Robocop was tough as heck. He was taking a beating as well as it got down to, when did he finish him? Maybe fourth round?
I think it was fourth.
My first reaction to that is I'm like watching it, right? And I'm just like, how are these dudes in the same weight class? He made Cannonier look tiny. I'm like, Cannonier's a big-ass dude. He made him look tiny.
And what's weird about Cannonier is him and Jessica Andrade, I believe, if I'm right off the top of my head, the only fighters in UFC history to have knockouts in 3 different divisions. Like, Jared Cannonier started his UFC journey as a heavyweight. He doesn't even look like the same guy. He looked like a Teletubby, just a chunky dude. Cut all the way down to middleweight, and then Robocop's gigantic, dude.
Huge.
Dude.
Bro's back is like this, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He's tall, his back is huge, like he's gigantic. He looks like Robocop. Like, it's a great nickname.
We have to talk about this though. While we were talking about the Sean Strickland fight, shout out to DDP, keeps cruising. But dude, Weili Zhang, bro. Dude, she Tatiana up. And Tatiana, I believe, she was a favorite. And that is someone I picked. I mean, I thought it was destiny for Tatiana to get a hold of her, just pound her out, her up. Dude, she didn't have I mean, even on the ground, Weili was her up, reversing her, everything, dude. That was a performance. All I want to see now is Valentina versus Weili.
Weili looked really good in that fight. Yeah, she did.
Scary.
She was zooming. She was fast. She struck really powerfully. It was a good fight. One of the best.
She did look really good too.
Dude, she beat the out of her. Like, Tatiana, I remember in the first, I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, bro, she gets her down, this is over, bro. She got, I think she took her down and then reversed, beat the out of right there. And I went, uh-oh. That was a one-way ass whooping.
But it went decision, sure. didn't it?
Yeah.
Tatiana took that beating, man.
Yeah.
She could take it, bro. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Does that turn you on, Mike?
Hell yeah.
Ilya Topuria calls out Islam fight allegedly in the works. I saw Islam say that there are contenders. I saw Dustin Poirier call him for it, that he's got to come up and he's got to... But that hasn't happened before. A champion has never come up and challenged a challenger. They come up for the belt to belt.
Yeah, if it's happened, it's very rare.
Maybe what? Anderson Silva fought the 205 guy, dropped him.
He went up and knocked out Forrest and made him look ridiculous. That was one where Forrest ran out of the thing. I mean, it was like a 20-second. He was just looking at punches sway by, and he countered him, dropped him like 3 times over in 30 seconds.
In other sports, there was a brawl in the NHL game, USA versus Canada.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting to bring that. I was going to bring that up next. There were 3 in the first 9 seconds, and the Chuck brothers both agreed. So the Canadians, Mike, you don't mind if I break this down?
Yeah, break it down.
I love my hockey. So we have all this beef, and they do the American anthem, and the Canadians are all booing, boo, that. The Chuck brothers go like, bro, before they even drop the puck to open up the game, all right, you, me, And boom, puck drops, everyone backs up, refs scooting like gloves around, make room, make room. Those two dudes bang, bro. They put his ass in the penalty box. Now let's go and drop puck one more time. Let's get this game started. It's been 3 seconds into the game. Puck drop. And as they're walking over, the other Chuck brother, so they send out their enforcer, the Canadian, to come over. And Chuck brother goes, you know what it is? They agreed to fight before the first fight. And so they're like, let them get it in. Puck drops. Everyone drops gloves. Boom. They bang it out. And then there's like 3 seconds of play after they put both the Chuck brothers in the penalty box. They take like a shot. Someone bumps the goalie. And then, oh, dude, it's the most insane first 9 seconds of a game ever.
And then we beat him, what, 3-1?
3-1.
They said, let's go. Dude, that's why you got to love hockey. Like, hockey is the best live sport in the world.
In Canada, they go hard, though, screaming true.
They go
Lord.
hard everywhere, bro.
Well, we haven't it's like, this reminded 1996, 1993 or whatever, dude. Like, Canada is not supposed to lose to us in hockey in any day of the week.
Detroit Red Wings, bro.
Let's go.
What you talking about? Stanley Cup owners.
Yeah, he's talking about country versus country, though.
Oh, it's Team USA. Right. Okay.
Yeah. This is like a 4-nation, Finland, Sweden.
Okay, but in Canada, I saw Chicago play a Canadian team. I saw that in Canada, so I was
the Canucks, the Oilers.
Yeah. They play that, but all the teams are filled with Canadians, and all the teams are like they're mixed.
Like
Forrest
MMA,
Griffin
it's not
would probably like freak out if he had to watch it.
One more thing, someone brought up something interesting because I said the same thing as you, Bagz. It's like the most entertaining sport. It's very hard, but it's got to be the most brutal sport besides actual combat sports. Because what other sport can you literally, like Mahomes and Hurts, what are they gonna flip the coin at Super Bowl, kick field goal, and then or kick off and then just square up in the middle? No, dude, no sport. And they're fighting bare knuckle with helmets on. What the Mike? You could be an enforcer, dog, if you could skate. And that's the other thing, man. These guys are riding around on shoes with knives at the bottom. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
No, it's a fun sport. What's really funny is I took my daughters. They were younger at this point, but I took them to a Nashville Predators game, and we sat directly behind the glass where the team is, and right by the entrance where they come in and out, like directly on that corner. And I swear to God, the game is going into the third period. It's like 5-0 Preds, and there's like 6 fights in this game. Half of it's like 5-on-3, and it's like the most exciting ever. And I look at them at the end of 2 quarters. My daughters are like, hey, can we go get a hot dog and go home? Like, this is boring. I'm like, well, if this is boring, you're not going to get a better game.
Yeah. The best thing is goalie fights. When the goalies finally square off, that's like super, dude.
Yo, I went to Daytona 500 last night, NASCAR.
Nice.
It was kind of cool, man. It was pretty cool.
I've heard the Daytona 500 sick.
It was. There was lots of crashes at the end. There was a crash on the last lap, the final lap. So every lap is 2.5 miles. And the Daytona 500, which is 500 miles, is 200 laps. And, if there's a wreck, they do a caution. And then, like, I don't know if I couldn't tell if the laps kept kind of counting up a little bit. But, and then the last lap, there was a crash, a big crash, and then they checker flagged them anyways. There was no caution, and they even did an overtime, which was you have to lead 2 laps in a row. And the number 2 car, Cindric, I think, he was in front the whole race. He was like top 3 the whole race, 1, 2, and 3, like, and then he just they crashed him right at the end. Crazy.
NASCAR is pretty fun too. Racing is.
All right, introducing the great Michael Venom Page, everybody. Thank you, sir, for joining us. How you doing,
worries.
brother?
I'm good. I'm at the airport still.
You got delayed?
The luggage took ages and this and that. But we still here, rocking, ready to rock.
Oh, we appreciate you for checking in with us, man.
No worries, bro.
Well, you're in Florida right now, huh?
Yeah. So obviously I got my family over here. So I come to see my siblings and them, and that's it. Yeah.
Oh, they picked a great place to live.
Oh yeah. So it's a vibe over here. After every fight, I always come and see them.
Man, it's good to see you, bro.
You too, bro. I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so proud of you, man. You've been doing phenomenal in the UFC.
Thank you,
Been
bro.
having some amazing fights. You're very entertaining to watch. Your style is incredible.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course, brother. Um, Speaking of which, could you talk us through getting that win over Shara Bullet?
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be I knew it was a big ask. Obviously, having to go up a weight. I knew he's an undefeated fighter. I knew he's very talented as a fighter, but there was just something about watching his style that I just said I can beat that. And even, I swear to you, I don't even feel like I was at my best on that day. And still, he didn't know what to do with me. So, I think he was fortunate that I wasn't as good as I could have been. But at the same time, I just knew I could beat him. I knew, he wasn't gonna be able to put his hands on me at all.
I saw a workout video. It wasn't from your page. I think
It was from me, dude. I posted that. I have to have him see.
You were
Pull it up.
bungee jumping with your feet.
Yeah.
You were so fast, bro. That footwork is crazy.
It's amazing. It's on our Instagram, Garrett, or Twitter. Instagram probably be easier, but I want you to react to this because people were tagging you in it, saying like, "Oh, you got to see this," and it's funny,
yeah,
dude,
let me
because
see it.
He'd pump a jab at you, and you're nowhere, bro. It's amazing. You got style, dog. I got to see your reaction to this. Let's see. And while he pulls it up, can you tell us about the paint fumes? Did you experience any of that?
The who? Sorry. Oh yeah. So yeah, I only heard about it after the fact. I didn't experience it. I don't know if my room was older or it got painted first. I haven't a clue. But I didn't even think of it or feel it in any way, shape, or form. And someone mentioned it afterwards because sort of I think a couple of the fighters have been kind of were saying it, but me personally didn't experience it.
Maybe that's why you weren't feeling your best that day.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like legit, I didn't feel anything. I just obviously it was all brand new built, so it makes sense. But like I can't say that I felt anything specific.
That is not the one I was talking about, but
that's not.
That's a good
funny.
one.
I've seen this guy before. This guy is so funny.
You guys are jokesters, man. I love this video though.
I love it.
Yeah, I love
I'm
that
curious which one you're talking about now, Mike.
No, the one I was talking about was actually MVP working out with his coaches, and he had bands on his legs, and he was doing fast feet work.
Oh, I know which one you're talking
over
about.
and over and over again, quick. You know, it was really incredible. The
Thank
speed
you, man.
that your feet have.
So a lot. Obviously, that's just that's my strength and conditioning coach. So we do a lot of, obviously, as you know, Mike. It's not just about the punching and kicking. It's about making sure your body is at can work at its maximum when you get in that cage. So for me, yeah, there's some of the drills that we do is because a lot of what I do is based around my footwork, my foot movement, and having the muscular endurance, having the explosiveness to be able to consistently do that. You see what I'm saying? So, that's just some of the drills that we were working on.
How frustrating is it, Michael, when you go into a fight? Let's talk about Ian Garry for a second, right? Ian's talking, and it's like, we're going to stand and bang, and we're going to do this. And then all he wants to do is try to dry hump you for 15 minutes. Like, how frustrating is that when you're ready to go, you can beat this guy on his feet. He's talking about it, but then he doesn't come through with it.
You know what? For me, the most frustrating thing about that is even when he was trying to do this, like he tried to change tactic, I wasn't prepared enough I was prepared enough, but I just wasn't active enough on the ground. Normally, I'd be way more active than that, and I get back to my feet. And then, regardless of what he tries to do, I'll still end up cooking him on the feet. But I just wasn't. That wasn't me performing at my best, which is one of the reasons why I went to go and do a grappling contest, because I was like, I just need to focus on this for a little bit, because my head, I feel like I'm in the flow state when it comes to the striking in the cage. But then when it comes to the grappling, I'm not quite in flow. Like in the gym, I feel like I feel comfortable. But then when I was out there, I just feel like I'm consciously thinking, and that always leaves you steps behind, especially in jiu-jitsu.
I mean, he does trained jiu-jitsu with one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in
Yeah,
Charles
yeah,
Oliveira.
yeah,
They
yeah, yeah, yeah.
obviously had a game plan to make you think he's going to strike with you, and just grab a hold and try to hold you down. You're definitely a dangerous striker. Uh, but speaking,
I think you're one of the most dangerous strikers. You're definitely one of the most exciting strikers in the UFC. Who are maybe three other guys that you look at and you say, all right, I respect that.
Someone you have to respect is like Pereira. Right now, he's on a killing spree, and it's more to do with his power. But at the same time, when you look at some of his like pullbacks, it's almost like very boxing-esque. He's got like a nice pullback and lands his shots really, really well. You can tell it's very well drilled, crazy head movement, and fast reactions and like countering people, but also that crazy power as well. So he's definitely someone. Another person I like watching is Sean O'Malley. I think he's just even in his strike, his striking has always been great, but I feel like even in his striking, he's gotten better and better and better. Every fight that he seems to get into, he seems to even though the competition gets harder and harder, he just looks comfortable in there. So yeah, he's another person I like to watch.
What about Raymond Daniels? Because him and Wonderboy are the two I would put you in a similar category.
Well, me and
with.
Raymond used to fight a lot. So we used to fight a lot. To be fair, he used to kick my ass a lot. So yeah, like we come from exactly the same place, and which is why again it's only me, Raymond, Wonderboy that I've kind of touched the MMA world at that level, and this is why people don't really have much to go on because there's very few of us that have come from that that kind of background.
Taekwondo
Yeah,
style.
that kind of style. But that's the thing is I think that's the mistake as well. A lot of people relate us to Taekwondo, and the style that we did is it's kind of a mixture of Taekwondo, karate, kung fu. Like it's not just Taekwondo. So a lot of people will focus on, and I've seen it before. Some of my opponents bringing in Taekwondo guys, and I'm like, you're gonna get it wrong. It's not the same. It's not. It's like it looks very similar, and it's like there's definitely a lot of similarities, but it's not the same.
Well, I want to know because this fight's coming up between KSI and Dillon Danis. Have you been training at all with KSI for his upcoming fight?
He's in the gym all the time, and you only have to look at the style to know. You should know where he gets it. He gets it from. So he's kind of adopted. And a lot of the guys in my gym since I've gone to London Street Fighters, they've kind of adopted that footwork style. But KSI is really, really kind of for me. It's a bit of a cheat code, especially in boxing, because again, it's such an unfamiliar style. It allows you to fight and compete against people that are a lot more experienced than you in boxing, but still compete at a comfortable level just because that darting in and out is just difficult to deal with for a boxer. So they're used to a certain level. But yeah. He's been working hard, and I'm looking forward to this fight.
I seen he looks kind of buff, man. Like he been putting on some muscle.
He definitely. I guess the end goal, I think anyway, is gonna be like a Logan fight. So he has to slowly keep building his weight up a little bit because he's a bit undersized comparatively. But I'm sure that's the fight that everyone's gonna want to see in future.
We got to see him face Tommy Fury out there in Manchester.
Well, he fought Tommy. He fought Tommy. I can't remember how long ago it was now. It was just after Ngannou fought Tyson Fury. It was right after, and we think we won that fight. I think I'd love for you to go and watch that fight and tell me what you think. But we think he won that fight. It went to decision. Then they gave it to him, but I don't believe he won that fight. So I'm sure there's a fight there that could be another fight, like a rematch to be made in future. But yeah, have a look at the first fight that they had.
I'm saying we saw it live, and they were both very defensive, stopping each other. They held a lot. Obviously,
too much
it was a
clinching.
point fighting match. And Tommy's done well, but KSI has been right there with him the whole time.
Yep.
KSI has the win over Logan.
Dillon should not get that fight because him and Logan was a embarrassment.
It was. But the thing is, honestly speaking, I don't understand how he's even achieved what he's achieved this far because he kind of sells a lot with his talk, but doesn't really do anything. He's had 2 fights in MMA, and yet he claims to be one of the greatest fighters in MMA. He's only had a few fights in boxing and claims to be one of the greatest fighters. Like he talks his way, which is a talent in itself. Like, it's a talent, but at the same time, like, yeah, when he gets out there, he doesn't necessarily prove himself after all that talking is done. Like, I know he kind of follows suit or tries to follow suit of his brother in arms in Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor backs it up. Conor McGregor can talk and then he'll back it up. Conor McGregor has 2 belts. Like, he's done his stuff. He's done his time. So you can do it, but then you have to be able to back up at the end. I just don't think I haven't seen it at all, not once.
Or at least show up and throw a
Yeah,
punch.
yeah,
Like, dude,
literally.
he could go out there and
Literally.
like, don't lay down, bro.
Yeah.
Throw a punch, back up your.
Yeah.
You get knocked out. All right, word. You stepped in there. But
Exactly.
damn.
All right, pull up a video of Dirty Boxing. Have you seen our Dirty Boxing Championship yet?
So I've seen you guys. I've seen like Mike announce it, but I haven't actually had a chance to watch any fights yet. But definitely, I need to see some stuff.
I want to pull up a clip for you real quick. So it's all striking, MVP. It's all striking. So it's hands, elbows, spinning back fists. Anything we took away, kicks. You can clinch, but you can't really grapple. There's no wrestling. There's no jiu-jitsu, no ground game. But if you do knock them down, they don't get a standing 8 count. You can actually finish them on the ground.
Okay.
As long as you keep both feet planted and don't mount them.
Okay, interesting. I like it. Ooh. Okay. Nice. Ooh.
Yeah, Yoel was our last main event.
Yeah. I remember your role. I saw highlights of your role there. There he is.
Legend.
Yeah, beast. Look at that shot. Absolute
What do you
beast.
think? You like the old school feel and just the gritty fight?
Listen, like, you see me when it comes to combat, I'll jump in anywhere. I just get it. Like, I just love competition. I don't know, just give me the rule set and I'll figure it out. I'll just figure out the rest. But that looks great.
I was like, I told the guys earlier this morning, I was on a text message. I was like, yo, MVP would kill in this rule
I would
set.
love to do that kind of stuff. Again, obviously, it's difficult to do anything now. I'm with the UFC. I don't have the same kind of flexibility. But there, for me, I just class myself as a true martial artist. If it's combat, then there's nothing for me to say no about. I have to do it.
When you got signed to the UFC, after all the fighting you've been doing, and they finally you finally got to go over there, did you take any bit of a pay cut because you wanted to chase that gold strap and that title?
Hell no. If I left earlier, I definitely would have taken a pay cut. But I put in a lot of work and created a name for myself, and quite a big name considering I hadn't even gone to the UFC. And they saw the value in that, and I'm thankful that they saw the value in that, and obviously the years of work. But there was no way I was taking a pay cut. They saw the value, and they were like, yeah, cool, we're gonna give you. But at the same time, they said to me also that, like, when I had a meeting with Hunter ages ago, and he was like, how do you see yourself like being in the UFC? And I was like, look, throw me in the deep end. I've been in this game long enough. I don't need any like build up fights. I don't need a storyline. I don't need none of that. Just throw me in the deep end and see if I can swim. Which is why I've had the fights that I've had. Which is why I had the names that I've had so far. And I'm gonna keep calling out the biggest and great, like, big names for big fights, because that's what I want to do. I've done all the work, and they're paying me to do exactly that. So yeah, man.
That's great to hear, man. I'm happy you're getting what you deserve.
Thank you,
and
bro.
you're putting on the great shows for the fans. I definitely enjoy watching.
Thank you.
I mean, speaking of big names that you've called out, I have these notes from my producers, and they said that you talked about moving up and fighting Jiří Procházka, but you guys used to train together. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and what that would look like if you fought Procházka?
Yeah, you know what it was? It was more, I was kind of like making and giving examples of the type of fights that I would like to be in. I said, because I was being asked, like, would I stay at middleweight? Would I go anywhere else? I said I would only kind of move up weights if the fight's exciting. I'd say middleweights, there's loads of exciting fights. I would even move up again and fight someone like Yuri because it's an exciting fight. I know he's gonna want to stand and strike with me. You know, yeah, we trained together years ago, and it was a pleasure, training with him. And it was amazing to kind of just share the cage and share. For me, when it comes to striking, I don't care what size you are. If it's striking you want to do, I feel comfortable in front of anybody. Obviously, the danger is he's gonna be hitting a lot heavier. It just means I gotta be even slicker. That's all it means. But yeah, no, those kind of fights. It's not him specifically. It's just more those kind of exciting fights is the kind of fights I want to be in.
Can I stack onto your question, Mike? Because this was my number one thing I wanted to ask you. And if I'm wrong about anything, call me out. But you were perceived for so long in Bellator, and so this is about your transition to the UFC. It always felt like, you've been called a can crusher, all this forever. I'm sure that bothered the out of you. But to fans, it looked to us like Bellator just refused to give you anybody. Like I remember, I think it was Rickles when you fought Rickles. You hit him a couple of times, dude. Literally, just I can't hit the dude, and I went, "That's the lame, bro. Pokeball him, bro." But it's like they wouldn't push you, dude. And then now you come to the UFC. It's interesting. You say Hunter Campbell. You're just ready to fight. Now you're talking about Jiří fights. You took Shara, Kevin Holland. How does it feel to actually come to the UFC and kind of like? Do you feel validated now? This was a star you could have been a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel validated here, and I guess again it's just aligned at the right time. But even with Bellator, it's interesting because obviously the story. I think there's a few elements to it. My style tends to make people look way worse than they actually are. Like a lot of times I've fought people that are actually super talented. Like Emmy Funny Rickles, I've seen him even in bare knuckle. That guy's a tough guy. I've seen him in fights even before my fight where he was down in the first round and he got back up and he's back and forth. Like he's a tough guy. He's by no means is he. He's not looking to back up for no reason. But again, it's for me, it's the frustration that I bring onto a lot of fighters. It's not just the landing punches or him feeling that I'm stronger than him or whatever. It's the frustration element of it, throwing your best shots and not landing. You know what I mean? It's that as well as me landing some of the shots. And for me, it's like after I cut his eye, he was like, he can already foresee it's only gonna get worse from here. I think it was a smart decision from him. Obviously, everybody understand wanting to see the knockout, but with that said, there's guys that I've sparred with in the gyms before. They know how I am, so it's like some of the Chinese whispers go around, and people hear about my story. So it wasn't just a case of me not getting the fight, giving the fight. Some of these guys weren't taking the fights. I was asking for them. The difference is in Bellator, I didn't really care. I'm not really a person that likes to call out people per se. So I feel like that my mistake was the fact that I wasn't opening my mouth. That was my mistake. So these guys that were not taking the fights because they already could foresee that, they were hoping that somebody else would deal with me and then they wouldn't even have to think of it because they could see the danger that I had, or the danger or they've heard about the stories in the gyms. So they didn't really want to take that fight. So again, it looks worse because I'm making people look worse than they actually are. But then these guys are sparring me in the gyms, and then they know the real deal. So they don't really want to take the fights. And then now, it seems like I'm dodging fights, or Bellator's not pushing me enough, or I'm crushing cans. There were so many elements to that. And now, obviously, UFC I'm just opening my mouth a bit more. This is why when I saw Shara, I'm like, I'll fight that guy. I asked for Kevin as well at the beginning. I'm like, yeah, I'll take Ian. I'm calling for these things now. Whereas before, I'm like, I'll let you guys deal with it. But now I'm like, oh, it's time for me to speak up.
So it wasn't so much Bellator not offering; it was that Bellator fighters weren't taking
exactly.
it. And then now you're in the Shark Tank, and that's you defeated the allegations, man.
Exactly.
I'm glad you're in the UFC. Yeah.
Well, speaking of those gym rumors, there are some floating around about you beating up on Khamzat Chimaev.
Oh no, that's I'll kill that now. I'll kill that now. Because
Hey, cut it off.
I'll kill it now. I'll kill it now. That's nonsense. I didn't even get to spar him. So He ended up sparring my boy Norbert Navenyi. Yeah, he's actually a free agent now. He's soon going to be in the UFC. Great young up and coming fighter. Norbert gave him a little back and forth round. They had their,
Right.
their little like tense sparring, sessions, and that was where I think because we came as a team. He's from my team, and then I sparred a couple of the other guys, and I was kind of having fun and showing flair, like showing my flair and stuff. And the like I said, Chinese whispers. It got mixed. It got mixed up. I had nothing to do with that. I got to see him in his element. And like I said, him and Norbert had like a back and forth spar, which was great. But at the same time, I saw how super talented this guy is. Like, I love seeing people because for me, he's talented in a completely different area to me. And I just appreciate it. It gave me inspiration to go back and just kind of really work on what I need to work on. He is such a beast. And I guarantee you he gets the title this year. Guarantee you.
I like Khamzat too. I think he's been really incredible.
Yeah, definitely. I think if he manages his, I think he looked better in the last fight. Obviously, it didn't last long, so we didn't get to see it. But normally, he's like Crash Bandicoot the first round, and then his energy dips. But if he's able to manage his energy and manage his muscular endurance and not go too crazy, I don't see anybody beating him.
DDP has been interesting though.
I feel like Dricus is very underrated for
No,
for
but
a
that's the
belt
thing.
holder here.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. If anybody was to, it would be Dricus because that is the muscular endurance. If you look at like some of the fights nowadays, Mirab, Dricus, these guys that have the muscular endurance to be fighting at like fighting at 7 the whole fight. Some guys, they start slow and try to build up, or like I said, like Khamzat, he starts at 10 and he tries to maintain that. No one and it's almost impossible to maintain that. But then you got someone like Mirab that's 7, 8 from start to finish, mate. That's difficult to deal with. And Dricus seems exactly the same. He's like 7, 8 the whole time. So if you don't kill him and get him out of there in that first round, second round, then you're gonna have a problem for the rest of the fight.
We all want to see it.
Definitely.
We all want to see
Definitely,
it.
definitely.
All right, so you know that you got to make the call out now. You just beat the boogeyman. I would venture to say you get probably pick of the litter. Who you calling out?
There's a lot of good fights. Usman's a good fight. I'd love a Usman fight. Colby's a good fight, and I think the reason I like the Colby fight is because obviously a lot of my thing is because keep him against strikers. No, I want people to see me against wrestlers as well and see that I can overcome these guys and beat these kind of guys as well. Because then after that, what else is there to be said? You know what I mean? So yeah, Colby's a good fight. There's so many guys in the division that is just is great. So for me, it's just I just want to get another fight, a big name that's going to allow me to kind of progress in the rankings, and then go for that belt.
I got to ask this: did you beat Mike Perry in bare knuckle?
Ooh. Hell yes.
Because it was so
Hell
close.
Yes.
That was a good fight.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. For me, I enjoyed that fight so much, and I'm glad it kind of went the way it went. And I don't feel. I always say this: how things happen is the way it's supposed to happen. He went on to do some amazing things in the BKFC and just created such a great name. I love your character. I love your personality. Like I said to you, even in the build up, like before even meeting you in the build up, I was like, this is the kind of guy that I know I'd go out with because I could just tell your energy. Like it's on point, man. Like you are such an entertainer, but also you come for war every single time. And nobody has ever seen me in that state before, ever. Like no, like even in this last fight, everyone's talking about how good this guy's striking is. Not one strike hit me in the 15 rounds in my face.
Well,
I got not one punch.
I didn't have to face legs.
Yeah, nah, Steve. Regardless.
And I remember the ref getting on you when you would take my back.
Yeah,
I was covering up, and I was like, I wanted to be like, no, it's fine. Like I want to figure him out.
Yeah.
And fight him, but then I was like, I'm not. He's not allowed to do it. Okay.
Man, I don't care. Wait, regardless of the result, I'm glad you won it. I loved the fight, and it was just a pleasure sharing. It was a pleasure sharing the ring with you, bro.
It was. honored to share the ring with you. I'm such a fan. I've
Thank
been a
you, man.
fan of yours. We talked about it 5-6 years ago. They talked about us fighting.
Oh, is it? Oh, is that us in Bellator?
There was a long time ago, maybe in Bellator. It was before I may have went to the UFC,
Okay.
and I had knockouts. And Facebook, it went viral on Facebook. They were talking about me versus MVP,
Okay. Crazy.
but it never happened. I think I ended up going to the UFC, and then so it was an honor. And then after we fought, you went out a couple months later and you broke that guy's kneecap with
Yeah.
one kick. One kick, bro. That was pretty good stuff right there.
Thank you,
man.
bro. Thank you. Appreciate that. Man.
What's your favorite knockout MVP? You got so many of them. What's your favorite one?
It's difficult. Like there's so many things. It just means different things at different times. But I think just the most popular one that's been up there is obviously the jump knee.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, that's just the most popular one. We drilled this knee for time. It wasn't like I literally predicted exactly what was going to happen. I said it in an interview before it that he's going to try and land a big overhand. I'm going to jump up and he's going to fall down. I knew exactly what I was talking about because we were drilling the hell out of this knee because we knew that's what he did. He over leans on his like kind of haymaker shot to try and hit people. But a lot of people, they run backwards and then they get caught with that shot. I was like, yeah, if I jump up, the most you're going to do is hit me in the chest, but my knee's going to be there. So, yeah, we had this planned.
I hit that knee on UFC 5 like multiple times every fight. But I'm curious, and this is a little bit morbid, but you his skull, dude. I mean, it's brutal. So what does that feel like, man? Could you tell?
At the time, no, because, and I always tell people this is weird because I landed the jump knee. He fell face down, but
And just
I just covered up. But he was kicking his leg, so I felt like it must have been a bad break of the nose. But it's weird because when I watched the video back and you hear the sound, you don't hear it the same way when you're landing those shots. But when you heard the sound, I was like, oh, that's okay, like that I felt the go through my body. In the moment, it's just another shot, and I didn't get to see his face. And then obviously I had my celebration planned, so I didn't see any of that. I only saw it was next day that my sister sent it to me. Now my family are full of comedians. Like we're all like, we love to crack on each other, joke, rare, rare. So my sister sent it to me. She sent me a picture with a hole by his head, and I was like, I started laughing. I was like, "Oh, you guys take the piss, man." I was like, she was like, "Nah, bro, this is not me. I didn't do anything to the picture. This is the actual." I was like, "We talking about?" She said, "Yeah, this is what he posted about in hospital." I was like, "There's no way." So I contacted my coach, and he told me, yeah, he saw it the night before, but didn't want to ruin my night. He wanted me to celebrate, and then he said he knew I'd find out at some point. But yeah, obviously we were trying to make sure he was okay. He's like, GoFundMe. He's a boss though, man. Like that guy's a tough guy. Checked himself out of hospital, flew home, got surgery. Like he didn't even get stretchered out of the cage. He walked out. He's like, yeah, I'm good.
Man.
That was the wildest part when he went down. He immediately turned around and he was kicking his legs like you said, and I went, "Oh, something's
Yeah. But I
time."
thought it was a nose. Like again, that's not a common injury. That's not something you see. So that definitely would have been the last thing on my mind. I just would have thought maybe orbital, because I know I've heard that can be really painful. Nose, like I don't know. That's the most I thought it would have been.
Your knee didn't hurt a little bit?
I swear, Mike, I swear to you, it's the weirdest thing. Not normally, you know how it is, like bone on bone. The other person's gonna feel it, even if I ended up on the better side of that connection. I didn't have a swelling, I didn't have a cut, I didn't have a bruise, nothing. Mad. It must have just been the perfect connection, because nothing on my side.
Your legs are strong though, man. I had to stop kicking, man. I was gonna start breaking my feet like all these guys that break their shins kicking people.
Yeah.
That would have been me if I ain't keep boxing. So I want to get your take on something. I want to know what you thought about how dumb I was in the Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, I was saying this. It's so weird to me because this one for me, I was like, Jake's got a problem here. He's got a problem here because, and even you said it even before the fight, he's gonna land shots on you because he's heavy-handed. You can tell he's heavy-handed. He's gonna land shots on you, but you're gonna keep walking through it. But I'm trying to even like I don't understand. He didn't feel like he was doing it as much as he would normally be doing. You just kind of sat there. I feel like you let him off almost.
He broke my rib in the first 10 seconds.
Oh,
My rib may have broke a week before the fight in sparring. I
okay,
sparred
okay.
an 8-0 boxer, and then in the first 10 seconds, he threw the right hook, and I remember thinking, now I know I gotta bend my knees and put my
Yeah.
body together to block that body shot. But I was like, damn, should I block the body? But then it'll hit me in the head. So
Mm.
I just took the body shot and he broke my rib. So, I mean, he got me right there. No excuses. I tried to walk him down. I just didn't have the same. And I think I went about it wrong in trying to gain weight. Even Ice Bags here told me, I don't think you need to try to gain
Yeah,
weight.
you wouldn't have needed to.
I tried to build muscle and put myself up in size when I should have just been fast and
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Like I said, the thing is, as much as like I said, he is heavy-handed, but the one thing that we all have is that experience. And yeah, I feel like you just wasn't yourself. If
That's
you
what
was
kills
yourself,
me too, is because people are like, "Oh, Jake's only been doing it 5 years. Mike's been doing it 10 or 15." But he called me with 3.5 weeks after I fought Tiago and I was chilling. But then I picked it up in the gym. I tried to gain weight. I couldn't. I was 196, and then I don't know. I made mistakes, so it wasn't my best self either. But
yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It's like I said, it is what it is. You continue now. You're doing your own thing. As I'm saying, I never like to hold too many regrets about the past. It's just learning. It's like, okay, maybe you shouldn't have taken that with those 3 weeks. Maybe you should have said, you know what, your ribs done. Maybe I have to take this opportunity a little bit later. Whatever. But learn from those mistakes and then keep pushing forward. But as you know,
I appreciate that, man. I'm gonna always get in there.
I feel like we kick Danis out. We go Mike and KSI at 185. I like that a lot better.
oh yeah, that's a good fight. That's a good fight as well.
It's a hell of a lot better than Dillon Danis.
Yeah, definitely. Because Dillon Danis doesn't. I don't think he's gonna do anything. Again, he just seems to talk his way in. His mouth sells him fights and gets him in fights. I don't know how long it's gonna keep working for. But for right now, he seems to get there. But yeah, Mike, I hope you're still in training, man. It'd be great to see you in those kind of shows still.
I am actually I'm in pretty good shape right now. I've been training, trying to wait for an opportunity for BKFC to give me a matchup or even something like that with the Dillon Danis. I was the backup for Dillon and Logan.
Yeah, I remember last time. Yeah.
That was just a little check and a free trip, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough.
But back to KSI looking buff. Like, you guys be eating lots of them English breakfasts over there. Is he on the Atkins diet? What's he eating, man?
Now, like I said, like it's just the guys at the gym there. My coaches there they're very scientific about everything. So like I said, they're not just thinking about this fight. They're thinking about the following fights to come. And like I said, the end goal is gonna be Jake. He's a bigger guy. He wants him to not just put on weight recklessly and then feel sluggish, but actually slowly have your weight go up, and actually your body get comfortable, your legs get comfortable with that weight, and have the like I said, the endurance to be able to match him with the weight, but with power, good power that can last every single round they decide to do. So, yeah, he's just tactical about it, and I think Dillon is the first step, and then he's going to continue from there.
I get that. Hey, man, shout out to KSI, man. I like that guy, and I think he's been doing well. You guys are such humble warriors over there at Shoot Fighters, man. I got a lot of respect for you guys. You guys work really hard and got some of the best martial artists styles out there. So
thank you.
I don't know if I appreciate you stepping in with us. I know you're at the airport and stuff, man, giving us time. I don't know if my boys want to ask you a couple other questions.
I could throw a quick one. I could ask for hours, but all right. I heard tell me if this is true. You fought 22 times. Well, you started karate or taekwondo when you were 5, and you did one time. You fought 22 fights in one day in 5 different weight classes.
Yeah, like because the way they do it. Because just remember, so just to make it clear as well, the type of kickboxing that I was doing is point fighting. So the element is not based on power. Although I'm not gonna lie, I've been hit extremely hard because we're moving so fast. It's about speed, it's about timing, and sometimes you just the collisions that happen. I've been hit sometimes harder in that sport than I was in this sport, but it's obviously easier to gonna your body's not as damaged. We're padded up as well, and bodies are not as damaged, so it was easier to me to go from mat to mat. And we have different styles, so we did point scoring, we had light continuous, I had kick fighting, and I forget there was something else that I did that day as well. But yeah, and a lot of times the tournament's on, I'm just literally running from one mat. Then second I finished, they're pulling me to the next mat to fight. And because I was winning and I was really fit back then, I just I had so many fights in that day. So many fights.
Badass. Is it true, if I remember correctly, you turned down the opportunity to, because I want to get your take on two things. So you turned down to do Olympics to pursue MMA?
So the Taekwondo team asked me, the head coach said he reckons I'd be good enough. At one point, they were opening the doors to other people that were not in Taekwondo, and he said he would love for me to come over because I've fought some of their guys before. They all knew who I was, and he wanted me to come over to train me up to go and do that. And I was just like, at the end of the day, for me personally, as much as I appreciate guys that go out and do that, the dedication to go out and get a gold medal in the Olympics, for me, I wouldn't care. I didn't care enough about it. For me personally, I would be like, I'd have this gold medal and still would end up going to have to then learn MMA anyway, because that was the path I knew I was going to take. So I was like, why waste my time? I don't believe it's going to give me too much to benefit outside maybe a bit of a profile, but I thought my profile was good enough. So yeah, I was just like, nah, I want to go straight into the MMA.
Did anything about that decision, obviously you want to go to MMA, did the fact, like, did you see, I think 2000, one of the last Olympics in karate or taekwondo, there was the KO, and like you're saying, then the point fighting and it's over aggression if you knock someone out. And then he got disqualified. So the guy kicked him with like a wheel kick, knocked him out, was disqualified, and the guy knocked out on the floor. Literally got the gold. Was that something that made you go, all that? I'm not trying to play that game because I'll rather go box Mike Perry bare knuckle, you know?
Well, it's weird that you say that because one of the last times I decided to compete in the freestyle kickboxing, I was in a world championship semifinals. And I'm just hitting. My striking was just clinical, man. Like I just landing clean. I didn't believe it was powerful, but the guy just kept falling, and I got disqualified. A week after, I got disqualified again doing a jump kick. Similarly, jump head kick, knocked the guy out. I think 2 weeks after that, I ended up knocking somebody else out. And my friend, one of my teammates, was like, "Bro, you need to leave the sport. Like, you need to go to a full contact sport because you're hurting too many people over here." So that's when I was like, okay, that I'm gonna consider it. Then I had one more. It was like we used to have a big European competition that I did, and it just felt like I was just doing the same thing over and over again, fighting the same people. I wasn't feeling myself, and after that, I was like, yeah, I'm out, and that's why I decided to kind of commit to MMA.
Well, if you can do 22 fights in one day in 5 different weight classes, like you're not being fed, dude. You know. So,
I was a lot younger back then, so definitely.
I got one for you. Would you rather be an exciting fan favorite fighter or a boring world champion with a belt?
You know what? I'd say exciting fan favorite. Obviously, sometimes a boring champion, like you, because there's definitely perks of having the belt financially, but I'm not doing this for the money. I do it because I love it. So just being a fan favorite, I love to entertain. I love to put on a show. I love to have memorable fights that people can take themselves back to. Like, oh, I was here at that fight, or I was at that fight, or like I love doing that for people. And I'm hopefully, I continue to do the same thing.
One more important one. Tell me about your conversion, I believe, to Islam.
Yeah, for me, it was just a personal journey. I think a lot of their discipline, a lot of their practices, a lot of their just behaviors, their brotherhoods, their family, it all resonated with me. So I was just curious about it anyway. My missus, her fam, she was raised Muslim. Her family was, and obviously it made me kind of a bit more curious because I'd be around her family a lot more and start to see a few more things, ask a few more questions. And yeah, just from there, just bit by bit, I was like, yeah, this feels right for me. And it's just a personal journey. Even with like, I was saying, even when I have kids, I want them to learn everything. I'm not, I just lead by example. If my example moves you to want to continue, like follow in my steps, then fine. But if you find something else that is for you, then fine as well. Like for me, it's just it should be a personal journey. You shouldn't be going out there like, okay, yeah, everyone needs to go and do this. It's like if you see me and you like you respect something that you see from how I carry myself or things that I do, and it moves you to want to know more or be closer to what I'm doing, then yeah, great. And that's how I live.
Hey man, congrats on your new engagement.
Oh yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. The wife, she's
It's great
waiting
to see
downstairs.
you thriving, man. You're
Thank you.
thriving in life and you're doing amazing things. That's what it's all about, positivity and growth, brother. We
Definitely.
appreciate you, man.
Nah. Thank you, man. Thank you. Like I said, when you told me to if I'd come on, I was like, for you, 100%, bro. 100%. Massive respect for you always, bro.
Hey,
Massive
you my
respect.
dog, brother.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
like you a lot, man. I'm rooting for you big
Thank you,
time, and
bro.
I hope to see you again. Maybe we can train someday.
Yeah, man, I'd love that. I'd love that. Anytime, man. Training, we can go out, whatever it is, man. We spend some time. I'm sure we'll do that in future, definitely.
Be exciting and go get that belt.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming on, MVP.
Take care, guys. Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys.
See you again.
That was badass, dude. He's so nice, dude. For like one of the cockiest, and I don't even want to use that
English
word, for like the
people,
most
man.
cocky fighters, bro. He's like a bro. He's such a bro. That's cool.
But good for him, dude. He's smoking it. Made a huge splash in the UFC. I don't think I had Bullet winning that fight. I think most people had Bullet, winning that fight. He kind of was the boogeyman, and he just completely dismantled him.
Oh, you mean you picked him to win? Oh, I was like,
No,
bro,
yeah,
he just said he didn't get touched. Okay, yeah, sorry.
No, I picked him. Yeah, I mean, I think most people did, right? Like Bullet was a pretty good favorite in that fight. Like,
And he was coming
MVP
up and-
completely dismantled him.
He couldn't beat that range. Me and Mike talked about that with the Steven. Every time he tried to even find like anything to touch him, he was just getting popped in the face. And then that was a wrap pretty much up to the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, I gotta find that video of his leg training that he was doing with his coaches. That's why.
Mike, how the do you lay hands on him and you can't touch big ass lumbering Jake Paul?
Well, I had big pillows on my hand, and they made me go up to 200 pounds, so I was a fat, sluggish, slow piece of in that fight, and I wasn't my hard, sharp, normal self who doesn't really. I only eat when I'm hungry now. I don't force myself to eat. I eat when I'm hungry. It makes more sense.
I think you're finally over the Jake Paul loss based on that question right there, because that's the first time you've ever brought up a question like that with any of the guests. So I feel like you're completely over the loss at this point.
Well, I like it. It's the last fight I've had, and I am hungry as and waiting for an opportunity to fight again. And everybody has every right to be afraid to be my next opponent. The only one they're talking about is stupid fans commenting about Jeremy Heathen Stevens like I got this fight in front of me and I'm not going to take it. Sign the contract. Comment, sign the contract like they know someone sent me a contract. Nobody sent me a contract with a name. No one's given me a name. You call me with a name and I say, yeah, let me get that. I'm so hungry.
Here's what I think. I think KSI needs to he needs to just kick Danis out, take the Perry fight, and get redemption for his boy MVP.
Let's go. Tell Mams. Mams been liking my stuff. I told Dillon, stop with he's showing us on Instagram, taking people down and grappling and shit. I'm like, stop doing that. Just box.
Do you think at all, Mike, that maybe, sometimes when people like, I think of, here's a prime example, Michael Bisping, when he lost the title to GSP, like immediately he took a late replacement fight in like Germany or something against Kelvin Gastelum, and he chin checked him, knocked him out cold. And it was like, why the did you guys let Bisping go in there, a month after getting knocked? Do you think it might be a blessing in disguise? It's been hard for anyone to find the right opponent or anyone take the fight, and you're just giving yourself finally a well-deserved
Of
rest. And then
course.
maybe when you come,
Of course,
yeah.
I'm enjoying my time. I do try to figure out what it's like in life to not be a fighter. Having been a fighter all my life, and you know, coming up with these camps and putting myself in the gym, but that is also good for my mental health as well, as being in the gym. And then it gets more strict when you have a camp and you have a date and you have the fight signed and you got to show up. You know, and I'm gradually picking it up now, and I'm in good shape, and I'm taking my time with everything, and I am enjoying family time. Of course, it's a blessing, and I definitely believe that things will happen when God wants them to happen, and I'd be happy to be that vessel. But so, you know, it's just a matter of time. And I get excited because I be thinking about, you know, getting ready and or not even getting ready, because getting ready sucks. I hate training. I like to do absolutely nothing. I'm the laziest, best fighter there's ever been. And I'm just tough as heck for no reason. It's not just toughness. I got speed. I got timing. I got distance and range. I know how to roll a punch. My best attribute is my ability to take a punch. I like that. Turns me on. My nipples get hard when I get hit in my face. And you know, but yes, okay, it's a blessing. I had a thought about something else, but
Well, here I want to ask you about this then.
I'm
because this
promoting.
happened the
We
other
got
day.
tequila coming. I got dirty boxing. We got overdogs. You know, I gotta go talk with some companies because we need them.
This will be my last question, but it is interesting. We've seen this like phenomena in MMA a lot, and maybe sometimes there's people it doesn't apply to, but it seems like the people that kind of announce this. So like Cowboy Cerrone, when you fought him, that was the beginning of like the Cowboy father Cerrone. He had just had his kid, you know, and then he did that. He walked into the cage, he's holding up his baby, and then Edmund Shabazian the other day. You know, he's only 27 and he's had a struggle for a while. Now he's on a win streak, but he just became a father and he smokes that dude with that right hand just last Saturday. And we just seen that a lot. Like, what about having a kid? Because then you have Ocean and then you just start going on this bare knuckle run and whooping everyone's ass. What is it about having a kid that like it seems like turns you into a whole new fighter, man?
Well, that's tough because I've always, and you know, MVP said it at the end, talking about youth when he fought 20 times in a day and he was younger. It's like weird what we could have got away with when we were younger. My body was so much more rubber, but I feel like I'm so much stronger now through all the things that I've been through in life, and I have this different type of power and energy. It's more of a calmness, and obviously having kids definitely lit a fire under me, but you know, sometimes it doesn't matter. Discipline is the most important thing, and being a martial artist, you know, you grow up being disciplined or learning more about discipline, your diet, your exercise, being in shape, trying to be stronger, strength and conditioning, lifting weights, doing cardio, sparring, you know, all those things just add up. I've been doing them for 15 or 20 years. I've been training. So I didn't put that on my kids like, oh, I gotta be better now because my kids, like, no,
Like you said, it lit a fire under your ass. It lit a fire under your
I
ass.
needed to be better anyways, and they definitely just added to the reasons as why I needed to be better and more of, you know, and I still make mistakes, dude. You know, it's like no matter how, if I get wiser at all, you know, they say the more I get hit in the head, I'm the only guy that gets smarter. Well, that's what they say. I like that one.
It's good. That's good.
You know, so I'm always a student of the game, always trying to get better. And, you know.
Well, it don't mean coming from me, but
day at a time.
proud of you, man. Like, you've been crushing it. The Jake Paul fight, bro. You're still crushing it, man. Can't wait for you to get your hands on someone again. You know, bro?
Yeah, no doubt, man.
That's it.
It's a matter of time. Well,
Dirty Boxing, March 22nd. We're going to be announcing the card here with probably in the next 7 to 10 days. It's going to be a splash.
looking so
Just say
forward to
that.
that.
Yeah, it'll be all over every major outlet for sure.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for joining us and our guest. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Overdogs Podcast. And if you did, please let us know down in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe to Overdogs. And go check out the Dirty Boxing YouTube channel. We want to grow that a little bit more a lot more, everything, obviously. But we got some big things coming. Some announcements will be soon. And you'll be watching the next live Dirty Boxing event on YouTube. So go subscribe to Dirty Boxing and have a good
On all platforms, because in the last one I told you guys, follow us on TikTok so we get 1,000 followers and I can live stream boxing people with Mike Perry on UFC. I'll take challenges from this YouTube comment section. We had a bunch of people say it'd be fun to fight you. We got 909 right now, so we're one podcast away, baby, and we'll get on there and see who the beat me with Mike Perry. I'll do you right, bro. There we go.
Let's go.
See you, boys.